Hi again then guys, and welcome to another Forza Horizon 3 speed tune setup, this time for a vehicle which is definitely iconic. It's named after one of the most iconic guys in the world of cars, Enzo Ferrari, but at the same time, it's a bit too expensive. Let's be honest, 2.8 million credits is an awful lot for a car which, to be frank, isn't any better than its sibling, the MC12. The MC12 costs 1 million credits, and I prefer it. But it's not just about whether or not I prefer it, it's categorically just as good a car. So if you're really looking for performance, you would be better off getting the MC12 for almost a third of the price. But of course that's down to you. A lot of people who love the Enzo love it just because they love it. In a similar way to how I am with the MC12, you're not really buying it because it's the best option, you're buying it because you love the car. And that's fair enough. I don't dislike the Enzo at all, I just like the MC12 even more. Now, as far as the drivetrain, I'd recommend having all-wheel drive. Again, a lot of people won't want that on their Enzo. If you don't want to, just don't fit it. It's as simple as that. As far as aspiration, you want the twin-turbo to get peak power out of this machine. As you can see, I have not fitted the front or rear wing or the roll cage. You can fit those things if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend them for this tune, at least. Those are more handling-based things, which just aren't really necessary for this car. For the rest though, you guys know the drill. Improve your tyres. I have got race tyres, even though I haven't got the writing on them. And increase the power, lower the weight, fit pretty much all of your race parts, and then you're pretty much ready to go as far as tuning. Now, speaking of that tuning, this tune is on my storefront. You can find it using the keywords down in the video description to get that quickly and easily. But as far as the benchmark goes, you're looking at pretty good numbers. Not necessarily quite as quick as some people might like, Enzo fans in particular, but certainly more than fast enough to be competitive. 2 seconds technically to 60, 3.9 to 100, 268 flat out. Now of course we'll see in a second if it can actually hit that speed, but for now I've gone for 3.2 on the final drive, then individual gears of 2.9, 2, 1.5, 1.18, 0.95 and 0.77, so very familiar setups for people who've used my tunes before. Alignment, we've got on neutral camber, neutral toe, 4 degrees of caster, and of course you can adjust all of this as necessary for your own personal driving style. Anti-roll we've got on 20, front and rear. Springs we've got on 114, 179, and for the ride height I've actually opted to drop the front end to 10.5, and that's because this car naturally sits quite a bit higher over the front end than it does on the back, and as I've said before, I don't like that look on my supercars. Some people might not be bothered by it, so it's down to you. As far as dampers, we've got those on 9, 12, 4 and 6. Aero of course doesn't apply, and for the diff, no surprises there, 100% on your acceleration, 0 on decel, and a 70% split. Some people definitely won't want a 70% split. If you want more maneuverability and want it to be more nimble at higher speeds, in particular on tracks like Goliath, then you might want to try 75 or even 80. But this is more of an all-round straight line tune with launch, off-road ability, top end speed, and some handling as well. So that's it for the tune, but now of course let's take it out on the street, as we always do, to see what it can actually reach. Now, on a slight side note, I would say that the Enzo, in a similar way to what I said about the McLaren F1 last week, has a certain special feeling to it when you drive it on certain games. It feels like it's got that air of respect that certain games give to it. Justifiably so. It was by far the most technically advanced Ferrari ever made at the time of its release, so much so that even the LaFerrari can still justifiably be compared to it. But I have to say, the game which I consider to be the best interpretation of the Enzo is actually Test Drive Unlimited. That game treats the Enzo with a huge amount of respect, and the car feels really like a lot of circumstance is given to driving it. As far as Forza goes, well, it's a highly competitive machine. In terms of all-round ability, as I said, it's very similar to the MC12, and you guys know which one I'd recommend, but if you do buy this car, and if you are a fan of it, you won't be disappointed. It is incredibly quick, even though it's not the absolute fastest, and it's certainly, I would say, one of the best all-round supercars in the game. So if you do decide to use the Enzo and some variation of this tune, I hope you have a lot of fun with it, and there are hundreds more like this that you can click through to see in the playlist at the end of this video. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.